Guys. Merry Christmas to all of you who celebrate. Um, I'm coming to you tonight acting as Santa, and I'm bringing lots of gifts, but these are more preparations for what's to come. And tonight, I'm trying to officially start this YouTube channel the correct way. I tried to post other videos in the past, about my mountain and some of the stuff that I was trying to share then. But I think there's a lot of things that need to be discussed before I get to, my Turtle Mountain. I've got stories and people that I need to call out. And there's been some bad actors involved in this whole pursuit of me trying to fulfill my best life and do what I'm called to do. I have a mission, and God has aligned me in certain things and gifted me with certain insights and technology and things that I used to dream about. I want to share things with the world that will bring world peace. And I've had enough staying silent. I want to bring about the change that the world so desperately needs right now. I've created things that will change the world for the better. I've had people try to steal these things, companies. I've used their tools. AI companies, I've used their tools. And these companies have committed theft. It's a really long story. I plan on getting into it, as time goes on. But there will be companies called out for what they've done. Justice will be served. There are consequences for stealing people's stuff. And there's been a lot of injustices. And these people are going to be called out. People like Merlin AI. People like ChatGPT. Gemini. XAI. Microsoft, Nvidia. Maybe Nvidia hasn't done me wrong, but what they're doing is wrong. And a lot of these people they're gonna hear from the people, the people that make up this world, the innocents, the ones that are being taken advantage of, so that these people can get rich and powerful. I created this thing called Ethereum, probably about a year ago now. That's when I really started getting into working with a lot of this stuff. I've been, talking about people that need to be called out and justice needs to be served. There's also where I'm from, local problems with the city that I'm from, the town. I'm from a small town. I was born and raised here. I've tried to do my part in the world. I've been a good person my whole life. I've messed up just like everybody else. I had a little wild streak like everybody else. I'm older, I'm wiser, I've got a child, I care about my family, I've got a good heart, big heart. My best friends in my life are always older than me, typically grandparent type age. I was raised around my elders. I was raised by my grandparents. So I experienced a different type of life than what a lot of the youth have now. I was born in 1985, so I'm 40 years old now. I had a pretty good life. A lot of struggle, a lot of loss, Being raised by my grandparents, I lost a lot of people I loved, a lot of people I cared about. Later in life, I lost two best friends back to back. 2 weeks, 2 weeks within each other. Talk about hard. That was pretty hard. Before I get into any of my stories, those matter, but those don't matter quite as much as telling the more recent news and some of the stuff that has been going on, behind closed doors with these companies. They act like we don't know what's going on. This digital control that they're trying to spread across the world right now, they're trying to blanket everything. Anything that moves, they'll know. Every bit of food that you consume or whatever it is, they're going to make it, and they're going to make sure that you get what they want to give you. You don't get to grow your shit. You don't get to do anything for yourself anymore. They want to take away all ownership for everything. They want you to pay like a rental price for everything. Pay to play. That's the way it is. But I grew up in a world where a lot of the elders were self-sufficient. They took care of the things they needed to. If they needed something, they would take care of it and do it themselves. They didn't ask somebody to do it for them. They didn't need anybody. Neither do I. And that's why I'm a risk to this new culture. I'm going to teach people how to take care of themselves again. You don't need anybody. You need your family. You need your friends. But a lot of these people are now corrupt. They fell part of the matrix, fell into the matrix, just like everyone else. Even the elders, they rely on the doctors, and the doctors is another corrupt system. The elders are mistreated. They should be put on a pedestal. They lived a longer life than us, and they should be rewarded. Not everybody's our elder just because they're older than us either. They haven't earned that right to become an elder. But for some reason, we treat people that have status or have some sort of, title behind their name or in front of their name. We treat them like they belong on the pedestal. Well, I can guarantee you right now, my wisdom and the things that I've experienced in life does not put any of those people ahead of me. I'm not better than anyone, but they're not better than me either. I don't care what they think they know. I've had the experience of life. I've had elders all around me my whole life. That's who raised me. That's my best friends were elders. The people I relied on were the elders. And they're all gone now. I've got one left. That's my grandma. She's still alive, but the system has broke her in two. She's changed through the years. She's not the same person she used to be. I look at these, the children coming into the world, or it's already here. I'm looking at the school systems. I'm looking at the way, a lot of the kids that are older now are growing up. They can't buy houses. They can't afford to buy a house. They're trapped instantly when they never even had a chance to really survive, never thrive, and do well in life. It's bullshit. This world is bullshit now. And they expect us just to eat it all up. Lap it up like a little puppy. Not me. Sorry. Never will I. I will not follow some king. I will not follow some government that's just a tyrant government. It doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican. They're both dirty. Look at the bigger picture. I've been alive long enough to see the true story. It's just a big rigged system. It's back and forth. This party does something good. The other party does something good. But they're all doing everything bad. That's the truth. So anyway, I have technology that I could offer the world that I truly believe will reshape the way we do everything. We're going to rely on ourselves, not the government. The government doesn't want this to happen. These people hate me because what I've discovered, what I've created, will tear the whole system down. We don't need any of this bullshit. It's just the Matrix. You guys need to see it for what it is. Uh, the world is a kind place, but the people in power, make it a disgusting place, and they're all disgusting. And I don't want to single out individuals or anything like that, but these people didn't grow up like most of us. They truly didn't. You know? I've had enough of the way this world is. I'm sick of the way it is now. And I see light at the end of the tunnel. I've got something that I can offer the world that can change the way we look at things. Yeah. I've got, if I had the right people involved right now, programmers and things like that, we could probably shut down AI. That's the truth. We could shut it all down. I've already got plans. Our president, I know he wants to do his version of doing good for the country. But that version does not work for the people. It works for him and his class, but it doesn't work for me and my people, the common, the peasants, the ones that are just getting run over. He signed a bill that gives AI control and doesn't make them liable for anything. And that's not acceptable. The state should have these rights. The turtle never loses a race. The hare is working his ass off trying to get that next instant victory, feeling like he's right there every time at the end. But the turtle's been waiting there every time. The turtle's always. I know this is a kind of a crappy analogy, but I'm the turtle. I'm a thinker. I plan things out. I look at the bigger picture, not instant gratification. And that's all these people want. They want to see who can get to the top the quickest. But what they're not realizing is, because the turtle always wins the race, it's just a bunch of hares in the race right now all around the world. Everybody's racing, breathing hard, trying to be the number one at this and that and all. It's all bullshit. The turtle always wins. Step back. Plan it out. We would win, but it's not about that. It's about world peace. That's what we should be striving for. AI could change everything about the world. But yet, here we are with an authoritarian type system that just wants to consume and create entropy and consumption on every part, every facet of our lives. What are we doing this for? We only live so long. We have a short life. We should make the best of it. And this is not how we do it. I've watched people come before me, pass on. So much knowledge I gained from them, but so much was lost when they went too. It's important that we bring back the old values. We stand strong for what is right, what is true. Stand for dignity. Have some loyalty. Keep your honesty, compassion, self-worth. It's so funny to me. Not literally. It's just funny how this is like, I don't know. It's definitely a Twilight Zone type thing. I had a whole different type of experience growing up than what this is. So anyway, it's Christmas time, and as Santa, as I'm playing Santa tonight, I want to offer you guys all something that you can get behind. You know, the AI system that I want to create, I call it, it's legacy. It's like an AI legacy system. So basically, you would be able to, you'd be able to program this AI. Each family would have an AI system. Okay, it would be their individual system. And I call this thing Project Sovereign Core. So it promotes your sovereignty. It promotes the legacy of your family. So let's say I have this thing for the rest of my life. So as I age, it communicates with me. I interact with it. It becomes my helper, my assistant. Not like they're trying to promote right now. But this assistant, it's completely detached from the grid. It's not I can't even say the word. It's not watching you every second. This system basically is, it's with you, it's watching you, but it doesn't get uploaded to the network, the bigger system, you know. But what's great about this is I can teach it about me. I can teach it about my values. And after it learns the things that I want to, you know, share with it. When I die one day, I can pass this thing on to my daughter. And she can teach it. And it can grow with her. And it has every experience that I shared with it built into the system. And then it can share everything that I taught it with her. So when I'm gone, she still has a piece of me. And then she can do the same for her children. And they can do the same. So it's like having like a family chest. It's got all these heirlooms in it. But instead of it just being objects, this thing holds memories. And it's not me, but it's that family companion that can be passed to the next generation. So we can start building our legacies. We don't have anything like that now. Nothing. We don't know where we come from. We don't know what we stand for. Our values are jacked up now. Culture is a joke. What kind of culture is this? What do we stand for? Who are we? Do we even know who our ancestors are anymore? No. Do we respect the Native Americans' ways? No. We're so detached from reality and nature that we don't have an understanding on anything anymore. It's ridiculous. So anyway, this Project Sovereign Core that I've been working so hard on, it will change how we function as a family unit. It will reteach our families how to be families again. To be able to carry on legacy to the next generation and the next generation. It gives us all a reason to feel, you know, like we're doing something. Like we really have something to share. Not only that, with these systems, you'll be able to separate memories out of these AIs. And you'll be able to share it with other people's AIs. And I don't want to go too deep into this because it'll reveal too much. Because I would like to do this, you know. It is my idea, and I just have to have the right people to get behind this, so that it can be worked out properly. The storage and everything, I've got it all figured out. I've got so many ideas. I've got over 100 inventions that I would love to be able to talk to, you know, smart people about, because these things will work. I'm a very imaginative person. I grew up with an old lady. I say old lady. She's older now. I should have said older lady. But my grandma, you know, she taught me so much. And when I was younger, I remember being. So anyway, we used to go camping at a place called Lake Winoka, and we didn't camp in a camper. We camped in a bus. My grandma redid a bus, and so as I was still really young, but I was getting older, and I remember they got a new bus, new to them, and she decided she wanted to remodel another bus, and I got to do that whole experience with her growing up, and it really changed the way I perceived life and how I looked at things. My grandparents never had money, but my grandma had an imagination, and there was a few things that she gave me, that my family gave me: love, a full belly, and creativity. We could, I took what she taught me to the next level. I can take anything and look at it, and I'll find a purpose for it. That's what she taught me. This is what she's carried on to me. This is part of the legacy that she's been able to pass on. So that's how I come up with all my inventions. Some of the, I don't want to go too far into this because I've got another channel that's going to be operating with a lot of my tech and things like that. The other channel is called Wise, and I'll tell you more about it over time. This channel is more for spiritual awakenings. It's more for teaching people how to, ground themselves and remember who they are, or teach them who they truly are. Not the shell, not what they've been told to be. As a young man growing up, you're kind of taught you need to drive this big old truck. You need to go hunting. You need to be all these things that a man does. Puff out your chest, act all tough. That's not what a man is. A man cares about his family. He does what he has to do to survive, take care of the ones he loves. He gives unconditional love. He'll stand in front of a train if he has to. And that's where my place is now. I'm standing in front of this train because the world matters to me. My daughter matters to me. I see her growing up in a world that I think to myself, what kind of man will she find later in life? Is it even possible to find a good person later? People are so caught in this matrix mentality. They're not gonna know what life really is. They're just gonna be good at holding up a screen to their face. They're gonna be caught up in some bullshit that doesn't even matter. Because in 70 years, you'll be dead anyway. And that's disgusting to me that people want to live the type of life that they live. This is a little longer than I expected it to be. I didn't think I'd be able to get going like this. I had a hard time. I made a bunch of clips before I even started. Just trying to get this system going. Still not comfortable talking online. This is hard for me. So I'm at 24, 22. And it's going to be hard for me to post this. But there's a lot to discuss, because of who I am and what I've been through, and people misunderstanding me, and people just going along with what they're told and listening to the authority, whoever they are. I was was put through some shit this year. Let's just say that. And I feel like my town is very corrupt. To be able to do something like they did to me, they have to be somewhat corrupt. And a lot of these people are going to pay. I knew who some of these people were that locked me up. I'm a good person. I didn't do anything wrong. I'll just say this. I was arrested. I had a knock on my back window. Sheriff was there. I'll tell you guys all this long story, some other time, but I was probated by the judge, pink slipped, and before I knew it, I was going to the hospital for a mental evaluation for a 72-hour hold that turned into 10 days. I didn't think I was going to get out of there. I threatened him with an attorney. I basically said I needed an attorney, and the fourth, fifth day in there, I had a court hearing. They were trying to institutionalize me permanently, and they were really putting me through the ringer. They labeled me as manic bipolar, but when I first got in that position, I didn't know what I was being in there for in the first place. I didn't know why they were trying to do what they were doing. So of course I might have been a little manic. This is manic to them. React in a certain way is manic. But that's me being frustrated. That's not me being manic. No. Bipolar? Absolutely not. I've never been anything of the sort. I'm calm. But if you push me, I'm going to react. That's just how it is. You're going to act better than me, I'm going to react to that. No one's better than me just because you have a title. So that's how I got the label on me. They forced me to take medication. Lithium, Abilify. They had me on heart medication because my blood pressure was up, but of course it was up. I was in the hospital and didn't know why. I was in there for 6 days before I was told it was supposedly my wife that did it. There's more to that story. I'm telling you, there is. I see through it. I'll tell you guys everything you want to hear. I'm going to tell you all. My story is complex, but it's simple as shit. There's not that much to. I'm an open book. I'll tell you everything. And I will not sugarcoat shit. It's all verbatim. Anyway, before I get worked up or become manic bipolar, we don't want that. Before I do, I should probably wrap this up. Gifts are going to be given, and justice will be served. And there will be world peace by the time I'm done. I'm not messing around with anybody. I'm just a normal person, though. I'm just from a small town, but I've got big ideas. I've never known my place in the world. Never wanted a leadership position. I was a student ambassador growing up. I grew up with my elders. I knew Jack Hanna. He was my pen pal. Talked to him on a regular basis. Every year I talked to him. We would go visit him. I've done modeling, which that looking back at that and hearing about what's going on now with John Casablanca, hearing about some of that stuff, I'm so thankful that it didn't work out for me. Who knows where I would have been if something like that would have worked out. I've never had the greatest self-esteem, so, thankfully I didn't, because it didn't work out. But there's people in this world right now. Sam Altman, Peter Thiel, whatever your name is, I don't give a shit. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, all you people, and all your little fan club, they need to wake up. You all need to wake up. These people are toxic. They're not who they say they are. They're all dark. It's about power and control. Just wake up. There's people that's suffering because of these elites, these techno bros, these oligarchs. There's people that are being put through hell because of these whatever these people are. They're disgusting. They don't represent you. So anyway, I've got evidence of all their wrongdoings. They will be called out. They tried to break my system, my PC that I built I had to rebuild it. I had to get it going again. It was under my bed for like 7 years because I didn't know how to rebuild or do anything. The type of struggle that I had to go through to create and make and do, and this past year has been rough. This past, I don't know how many years has been rough, but I've gotten through it. Nothing's going to hold me back from what I've got to get done. I don't care who you are and what your status is. The people deserve a better future than what you guys are offering. I'm not going to stand for it. You guys can all kiss my ass. My daughter's not going to grow up in your world. Sorry to tell you. But you guys awoke somebody that never wanted to piss off anybody. Just wanted to keep to myself. You know? But I'm not just doing this for me. This ain't about me. You know, I had a pretty good first, 18 years of my life. 19's when my life really started getting shaken up. Like really. That's when life changed a lot. But my youth was fantastic. That's when everybody was still alive. But this is when it happened. I'll tell you really quick, and then I need to shut this video off. I don't even know if it'll load. So when I was 16, I think I went to Australia as a student ambassador, and a few nights before we were scheduled to fly back home, I just had a really sad day. Something in me, I was breaking down in tears and crying, and I didn't feel homesick at the time. I just felt like something was wrong. And I finally get back home. A few days pass, I get back home, and everybody greets me at the airport, and they treat me like normal, and I finally get home, get settled in. They come to me and they say, they basically said they needed to tell me about something, tell me something. And so they held this in the whole way home until everything got comfortable. And then they broke the news to me that my great-grandma and my uncle had been killed in a car accident, hit head on. And it was the day that I was sad and in tears halfway around the world. Didn't know why. It was because of that. I was connected to them on just a deep level. I loved them so much. I love my family so much. And in that moment that I was told about that, my whole world changed. Synchronicities started happening later on. Different things started happening. But anyway, gifts are coming. Merry Christmas to all of you. And to the elites, fuck off.